Hello. I don't know if you guys really liked the last episode because it was really short, but I hope you guys did. But anyway, this is part 3 of the New Kids series. So yeah, let's get into it. Oh wait, just before we get into it, there can be swearing warnings. Obviously it's South Park, there's gonna be swearing, but yeah, there will be quite a few warnings. I'm pretty sure in the next one, because I looked at it, I briefly looked at it, so yeah. Let's get into the video. The bus pulled up to the yellow building. Kids were surrounding it. Eric was sitting next to me. He started to get up and grab my hand. He scared me out of my gaze, and we walked to the front of the bus. This old lady with some sort of bird on her head started yelling things at us. I jumped off the stairs and hopped into the cold snow. I still had to get used to all of this snow. Eric let go of my hand and sighed. "Welcome to South Park High." "It's not as good as it seems," Kyle mutters, but it was still loud enough for me to hear. I started to walk towards the entry when I was stopped by Eric grabbing me. "Listener, I love you, so please don't hang anywhere near Bebe." He let go of my arm, and I looked at him with a confused expression before I continued walking. I reached the entrance and swung the doors open. Walking down the hall was very nerve-wracking. There were stares, whispers, and even some obvious pointing. But it wasn't as bad as I anticipated. Kyle caught me up and walked next to me. As I saw him giving dirty looks and glares to groups of boys, or well, specifically this one boy with brown hair and a red jacket. I looked at him with confusion all over my face. He noticed and responded to my reaction. "Oh, he isn't well. He struggles to explain. He's the #1 man whore of the school," Stanner interrupts as he appears from behind me. "Kenny is #2. They both said in unison. "Well, thank you for clearing the man whores, but could one of you help me find the office?" I smile. Kyle nodded and led me away from Stan. Stan waved at me and entered a classroom. Before I knew it, we were at the office. "Thanks, Kyle," I said, smiling at the cute redhead. "I will wait out here in case we have a homeroom or any classes together." He shined a big goofy smile at me. I nodded and walked into the office. A man with large sunglasses looked at me sternly. You must be listener. I'm PC principal. I have your timetable here and your complimentary school bookmark. Thank you, PC principal." I smiled and walked towards his desk, grabbing the papers. I waved to him and walked out to Kyle, handing him my times table. "Oh, we have 2 morning periods together. 3rd is Stan and Cartman. 4th, you're alone. And 5th, you are with Kenny, but I doubt he'll be there." Kyle stopped, grinning at the last part. "Oh, class is starting in 5 minutes. I'll show you to the classroom." He walked to his left, and I followed. Kyle was being so considerate and just kind in general. He stopped in front of a yellow door. It had a small window, so I knew people could see us waiting. Kyle swung the door open and walked in, sitting next to a pretty girl with long black hair and a pink beret of some sort. "Ah, Kyle, and new kid, did you finally decide to come to class?" A middle-aged man in green loudly spoke to us. Sorry, sir. Kyle was helping me get my times table. I smiled at Kyle, hoping it wouldn't get him in trouble. You're excused, but for this one occasion. New kid, introduce yourself, the teacher said, pointing towards the front of the class. I walked over and stood looking at all the brand new faces. Hello, I'm Listener. I moved here from your hometown. I like to dance and crochet. I hope I can be friends with all of you. I smiled and looked at the teacher, not knowing what to do next. Oh, you're done? Go sit by Tweak, he said. Ag, a blonde boy in a green polo shrieked. I walked over and smiled at him. Are you Tweak? He nodded with a scared face. I sat next to him. I'm Listener. It's nice to meet you. I smiled at him, and he seemed to calm down. I'm Ag Tweak. You know, I'm introductions are too much pressure, he said, until a boy in a blue hat with yellow pom-poms tapped his shoulder. Tweak looked at him and smiled. Time skip. The bell finally rung. I got my hopes up too high. And now, second period, I got out of my seat and said goodbye to Tweak. I walked over to Kyle, who was talking to the pretty black-haired girl. She looked at me with a spark of joy in her eye. Oh my gosh, you must be Listener. I'm Stan's girlfriend, Wendy. She squealed at me. Nice to meet you, Wendy. I saw you earlier, and I was thinking how pretty you were. I smiled at her, my first female friend at this school. How exciting. You are too kind, just like Kyle was saying. What do you have next? Ooh, I hope you're with me. Oh my gosh, we should go shopping like Skip. Kyle cut her off. Listener has history with Miss Ellen, so no, she will not be skipping on her first day. I looked at Wendy, flustered by all her questions. We can skip another time. I smiled at her. She hopped out of her seat and waved goodbye and gave me a tight hug. She started to walk off. Bye, Listener. Bye, Kat. She is so lovely, I said to Kyle. Don't be fooled. She is kind of crazy when it comes to Stan, he replied, rolling his eyes. He got out of his seat and we walked into the busy hall. I followed him to the next class. We walked in and we were surprisingly early. A pretty teacher with short black hair looked at me. Oh, you must be Listener. I'll get you to introduce yourself when everyone is here. She was very welcoming. Kyle patted the desk next to him. I sat down and waited for everyone to come in. I noticed a familiar face with the guy with the blue hat and yellow palms walked in and sat behind Kyle. Hey, Greg. Kyle smiled. Greg flipped off Kyle, and I was shocked. Kyle saw my face and giggled. That's normal for Greg, he said in between his giggles. Wyan, can you introduce yourself? Miss Ellen spoke, pointing towards the front like Mr. Garrison. I walked over, feeling all eyes on me. Hello, everyone. I'm Listener Cartman. I like to dance and crochet. I hope all of us can be friends. I smiled and walked back to my seat. I heard when I sat down, I looked over to see a girl with wavy blonde hair and a red jacket. I'm Bebe. You seem to be getting close with my boyfriend, she angrily whispered. I looked at her confused. Sorry, who's your boyfriend? I whispered and smiled. Kyle. We aren't official, but we are basically together. He's going to ask me to the dance, so back off, bitch. She started going from a whisper to talking. Excuse me? Just because I'm friends with a male does not automatically mean I like them. Also, don't call me a bitch, ho. I angrily whispered at her. Cough, cough. Slit. She fake coughed. Kyle looked at her with an angry face. She had the biggest fake smile towards me. Cough, cough, cunt! I faked cough. Kyle giggled at me. Kyle, I don't like you hanging around this pick-me, she whined. I can hang out with my friends when I want to, Kyle replied as I laughed, keep it down back there, Miss Ellen shouted. Bebe glared at me. No wonder you're related to Carmen, you fat pig, she mumbled, but made it loud for most people to hear. Wow, Bebe, I've only known you for 5 minutes and you already seem like a narcissistic brat who uses weight as an insult. You know that many people suffer from being picked on for their weight, and you are the same as all the girls we see on television. Well, Mean Girls. Now, all sizes are beautiful, and I may be 10 kilograms overweight, but that doesn't stop me from having a kind heart, which is all that matters, right? Or do you only care about the beauty standards society has made today? Wow, I know you're pretty, but you shouldn't have any right to disrespect me or others around you, I exclaimed. Watching her face go all red as everyone turned towards us was the best feeling, but no hard feelings, baby. I smiled at her and went right back to taking notes. She looked at me stunned, and people around us started quietly clapping. Kyle nudged me and whispered, wow, no one dares stand up to Bebe. He smirked and continued writing. He sent butterflies through my stomach. I can't like him. It's my first day. Okay, that was it. That was chapter 3 of the New Kid series. I feel kind of bad because there are quite a few the next chapter is kind of short, so I may or may not just combined it with chapter 4. Oh, they're both chapters 4. That's what they say. Okay, so I'll just read them together, and then yeah, so that's it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry about the last video on this series was kind of short. I was, I didn't really want to read that much, so I just read the one chapter. But I really hope you enjoyed, and yeah, sorry for not posting yesterday, but anyway, have a good day, night, or afternoon. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.